the good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. You know it's going to be great because I got the sounds of Frank Sinatra filling the kitchen here in the background, and everything comes out better when Frank Sinatra's playing. It's just a rule. Dino's pretty good too. I'm not saying that that's going to be bad, but so thanks for joining me, guys. Today we've got a great recipe, and it's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most popular kind of treats you're going to have in Italy. Certainly at like carnivals and fairs and festivals. You know, there's festivals almost every weekend, certainly in the summer in Italy. And we're gonna make an almond fritter. I'll tell you, put a bowl of these out with the gang in the kitchen. First off, they're fun to make with your kids, but I'll tell you, they are gone in minutes. And as a parent, I'll tell you, sit back with a latte, you know, and a couple of those on a plate. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. All right, so first and foremost, we're gonna need some flour. I always tell you to get a pastry flour in this case. So we want a low protein flour, so that'll be perfect. So pastry flour, about 1.5 cups. Non-bleached, unenriched. So it gives you the pure flavor of flour, which is exactly what I want. Secondly, I'm gonna want about 1/4 cup of sugar. So granulated sugar, you know, caster sugar is great. It's got a little fine grind to it. That'll be great. I'm gonna wanna finish this off with some sugar. So I've got here another 1/4 cup, but I've got powdered sugar. But again, we're not gonna mix that in the dough. We're gonna use that to finish them off. All right, we're gonna do 2 eggs, which will be great. We're going to use the whole egg. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of butter. So it doesn't really matter if you salt it or unsalted. Just know that if it's salted butter, you're not going to add any salt to this recipe. If it's unsalted, you're going to want to add a little bit, okay? So just give you a heads up on that. We're going to want some almonds in here, hence almond fritters. So here I've got about 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 cup of almonds. Now these are raw almonds, and we're gonna chop them up, and because we're gonna deep fry these, there really isn't a reason to roast them. We've got 1 teaspoon almond extract. I mean, get the real stuff if you can, okay? I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, that smells good. Now next we're gonna add something, you know, I say we're gonna get a little naughty here. We wanna have some fun in this thing, and one of the secret ingredients they're gonna use in Italy, almost in all fried doughs, because you want it to bubble, like so a cannoli shell, right? You'd use that, or a fritter, you're gonna use that, is you're gonna wanna use some alcohol. Now what we would traditionally use in Italy, or certainly in our family, is we're gonna use grappa. Woo! Woo! Man, that'll grow some hair on your chest, no doubt about it. So we're gonna use in here about 2 tablespoons of grappa. What'll happen is it'll bubble very quickly because it has a low boiling point, and it'll add to the bubbles, the lightness in the dough when it gets hot, okay? So we're gonna add a little bit more of a leavening agent, and that's gonna be, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder, okay? And then we're gonna add some nutmeg. Oh, I love nutmeg. Nutmeg is old Italy. It's rustic Italy. So we're gonna add some lemon zest and some orange zest. We're gonna add about 1 teaspoon of each of these. We're gonna add a little salt. So again, going back to the butter, if it's unsalted, you're gonna add a little pinch of salt. I'm never big on any type of refined salt. I really like a French sea salt, which is what we're using today, because French sea salt is very sophisticated. Olive oil does not go in this recipe, but if it did, and you're new to our channel, I own a farm in Italy with my 2 sons, Vito and Joe, hence the name, and we make our own olive oil. We co-op with a group of farms. We ship it here to the United States. We try to bring in some of the best extra virgin olive oil you'll ever have in your life. It's grassy, earthy, peppery, and you can go right online at Cooking Italian with Joe, or you can go right on our Facebook or hit one of the links below and go right on there, click buy a bottle, and we will actually drop ship it right to your house. And I call it a trip to Italy right in the bottle. So we're gonna take essentially our dry ingredients, we're gonna start mixing that together. A great suggestion getting started here is you're gonna take your mixing bowl, obviously, but I'll take like a screen strainer, and then I'll put all my dry ingredients in it, and what that does is obviously it breaks up any clumps, because you don't want to get any clumps of flour or sugar or spices or anything like that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just start dumping everything through my strainer. Start with my flour, my sugar, baking powder, nutmeg. Oh, I love nutmeg. Pinch of my French sea salt, perfecto. And then real simple, just give it a shake. And you see those lumps right there? See, if that was a If that was something that you mixed in your dough, unfortunately, that may come out as a lump, so we don't want that, right? So I'm just gonna push that through. Now I'm gonna give this a quick little stir. Next, I'm gonna take my butter, I'm gonna melt that down. While the butter's melting, I'm gonna take my eggs, hit them on the side of the table so you don't get any shells in there, and just give them a good crack. Now, I like to do them in a clear dish, that way you don't get any shells in your dough. Next, I'm gonna take my eggs and give them a good scramble. The reason I do that first, I always do this first before I put it in. I just want to make sure everything gets really well distributed. Next, I'm going to make a little well in here before I put my wet ingredients in. And I'm going to put my eggs right in the middle. Next, I'm going to put my butter. I'm going to put my almond extract. Oh, that smells good. I'm going to put my vanilla extract. I'm going to put my grappa. Hey, how you doing? Hey. And just slowly start incorporating it. I need to put my lemon and my orange zest in. So I'm gonna go ahead and zest these. So I've got my orange zest, now I've got my lemon zest, got my bowl, I call it adding some earth and some sunshine. What's nice also is the alcohol will act as a solvent and it'll help extract some of those oils and flavors from the zest. We don't wanna mix this all the way yet because we've gotta add our almonds. So I wanna chop our almonds up before I give it a final mix. Okay, through the magic of TV, I got my almonds all chopped. And you're gonna see what's beautiful in there is we've got some that are really fine, and then we've got some pieces. So it's really gonna add the texture in your mouth. And that's Italy, right? You want the imperfection to be, essentially, will be your perfection. Now I've got all my ingredients here. Everything's perfect. I'm gonna give it a nice mix. Okay guys, I've got some oil going over here in a cast iron pot, and I've got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of a vegetable oil bringing up to temp. Now I don't need any flour here because I'm on a hard surface. If you find that you're on a surface where you don't have a knife here and it's gonna really stick, then absolutely flour your surface. Oh, I'll tell you, the dough, absolutely perfect. Oh, it smells like Italy, you know? So what I want to do is wrap that dough in some saran wrap. I'm going to let this set out now about 15 minutes minimum, maybe 30 minutes. What that does is a few things. One, it hydrates the flour. So by hydrating the flour will be more likely to poof up, if you will. It'll give it a better leavening reaction, as well as marrying the baking powder throughout this, as well as the alcohol, as well as all the flavors now that can marry throughout that dough. It's been about 30 minutes, guys. I'm gonna unwrap this. It's just gonna smell delicious. Oh, the aroma, fantastic. I've got a plate here to set my finished ball. I've got my Vito and Joe's olive oil over here, if you guys haven't had a chance to go grab it. And now what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna cut this in half. Then what I'm gonna do is just make a log out of it. So just roll it out as a log. Okay, that's our perfect size. Then I'm gonna go about 1 inch. And again, I'm going for the shape and size of a chestnut, which is perfect, right? And you got all those chunks. See the orange in there and the lemon and the almonds? Oh, that's gonna be good. We got our chestnuts. All right, I'll meet you guys over at the fryer. All right, guys, we're ready to get frying. So I've got my oil hot, okay, with a cast iron. I like it because the side's higher. I do like the white porcelain inside because it gives you a better contrast to get an idea of when you reach that golden brown. I've got my La Castagnola fritters ready to go, okay? My almond fritters. And now I've got a rack here to have them dry. I want to make sure I've got something to scoop them out, right? And I got something to help turn them or spin them to make sure everything's getting fried. Powdered sugar ready to go. When they come out, let them cool a bit, hit them with some sugar. And then obviously I just want to give you guys a reminder, if you haven't already gone to our website or our Facebook page, make sure you grab yourself a bottle of olive oil. Last but not least, a really important tip is if you subscribe to our channel. So there's a red button right down here, click it quick. And what it does is any new trips, any new recipes, anything I got going on with Blogging with Borio, it'll come right to your notification box. And I'll tell you, it means a lot to me when you subscribe to our channel. And hey, it makes you part of the Borio family. You know what I'm saying? And real simple, just gently set them in. Oh, that's perfect. And you're gonna see they're gonna puff up pretty quickly. So guys, these are really small, so they're not gonna take that long to fry, but you see how that's still a little raw in there? So we want golden brown on the outside, but we also want to make sure they're all cooked fully on the inside. Guys, look at that. How perfect is that, right? So this one's done. I'm going to put them right over on my rack. And then I'll start picking out a few that I put in initially. They're nice and poofy. See how the inside there is cooked perfectly? I'll tell you, the smell in here is unbelievable.
Guys, these have cooled just a little bit, so I'm going to start with just a little bit of my sugar and just give them a quick dusting while they're still warm. I like that because even though some of that will melt, it'll actually give it a really good coating of something sweet. Okay guys, I plated everything, and then what I want to do is just get it all flat. I need the non-sugared sides, and then just going to hit it again with that powdered sugar. And the key to remember here is a dolce, right? It's a sweet, it's a dessert. So I want that first flavor to hit my lips. I want that to be sweet. I want it to be sugary. You know, I want it to explode my mouth, not only with the sweetness, but then the flavors that backdrop it. All right, guys, my favorite time, you know that, is tasting. So let me grab one of these guys. I'll tell you, first off, the kitchen in here, the aroma is phenomenal. Oh, that's good. You could smell the orange, the almond, like immediately, it immediately hits you. Let's open that puppy up. Look at that, is that perfect? You see how it's got that crisp along the outside here? And then the sugar. All right, guys. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. Almond, orange, sweet. The texture of that crunch. You got the vanilla. You can't even taste the nutmeg, but it's there. You can feel it coming in on the back. And then the best is the almond. You get those little nuggets of that roasted almond. A little latte. Oh yeah, see? And right at the end there, you get more of that almond, that nut. Picture that, you're walking down this little street through this little village, and you have all these vendors and everybody's selling different things, and then you got these carnival fritters, you know, covered with sugar, and you grab 3 or 4 of them, and you're walking along, and you're grabbing a coffee, and one of those things I always try to share with you guys, you know, celebrate your heritage and set some traditions and sit around a table with your kids and like I said, make a mess and burn a few things and tell some stories to set traditions that last your lifetime. I certainly know they did for us. Guys, don't forget, go online, grab yourself a bottle of Vito and Joe's olive oil. Trip to Italy right in a bottle. We'll drop ship it right to your house. You can go to our website, Cooking and Telling with Joe, or right on our Facebook page. And make sure you guys remember to hit that subscribe button. Hey, it makes you part of the family. You know what I'm saying? Hey guys, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, mwah, bon appetito.
A good life, full of fun.